Okay, I wanted to kind of address a little bit of some teacher concepts, misconceptions a little bit. I know that we work in this field that is very high energy. It is a lot of work. It can be a thankless job a lot of the times. And I just want to be very transparent that our expectations for childcare, teaching, it is that for all children, we are there to support their development. And it can be hard when children have challenging behaviors, when there's a physicality to that, and there's friends getting hurt. There is an expectation that, yes, it needs to be a safe environment for all children, but it also needs to be appropriate. So the appropriate practice is that we are providing care for even children that are not having great behaviors. And it's not expected for them to have great behaviors because they are learning and this is part of their developmental stage. And there are a lot of children that will mold to what you want them to do. They're compliant, they're complacent. For the most part, they follow directions, they follow a routine. Let's just be realistic and say that that is not for every child. And right now we are seeing at least a 1-to-6 ratio where children need a diagnosis, whether that is a learning delay, a disability, on the spectrum. So when you see and are experiencing a really hard case with a child and their behavior, it can be really hard as an adult to kind of hold those biases back. I know that some schools will just exit the child. That is the last case scenario, and it may be because this environment is just not lending the support for what the child's needs are. And there's always a process to that, but the reality is that if this is not the child that is going to stay in the program for whatever reasons, maybe their just behaviors are just too arduous, we can't get a hold on them, and they need to find a program that better suits them, there will always be another child. So just please kind of take a step back a little bit, think about what you're really asking and what your expectations as a caregiver is. Whether you are a teacher, an aide, a kitchen support, you are coming in contact with this child, and if it is really uncomfortable or you're finding yourself with this expectation that this child should not be in this program, those are conversations that you need to have with your admin, but also there is a reality and expectation for yourself to also remember that this child has rights as well. And problematic behaviors can really put a hold on a relationship. And so really we need to also buy into supporting all of the children regardless of their behavioral status, their special needs, and we have to really put in the energy. And that's just reality. Like, it is an arduous position, and we have to really decide and make a choice. Are we putting in this energy? Is this really the position for me? And if it's not, that's okay. Just be honest and, talk to your admin. Maybe you just need training tools. So with that being said, I hear you. I get that every problematic behavior situation, it can be really hard, but sometimes it takes the adult to take a step back, to look at your personal biases. Maybe what you're doing is not working anymore, or there's a reason why, and that most likely is because you're really not engaging the way you should be with this child. And of course not, because these behaviors are stopping you from that. But we do need to regroup and readdress how we're engaging attention with this child so that we can meet those needs, because that's the only way that we're going to dissolve any behaviors. And this is a great opportunity for you to learn professionally how to grow, because like I said, there will always be another child to replace that child in a different facet, but problematic behaviors, a problem situation, and you're not always going to be able to just enroll a child. And so the reality is that you want to become versatile and dealing with multiple situations. So I'm hoping that these talks and this information is going to be really helpful for you. You can always reach out to me with a specific situation. Hey, this is what I was thinking, or this is what happened and I didn't do it. It takes a lot of practice. It's not going to get better overnight. And so just keep with it. Keep practicing the strategies. Get on the floor. Ask your team, like, oh, this really worked for you. And there are going to be some approaches that really work better for other people and they really don't work better for you. And maybe that's just not who you are. Maybe you just really can't engage that way, to which I say, find a way. If this is really the field for you and you really want to help these children, you're really going to have to step up your game and engagement and find your way, because we're not catering to children with problematic behaviors. We are feeding a need of development so that they can move past this behavior, because this behavior is just a stage in their development. And in order for you to have the autonomy in the classroom and flexibility to cater to all of the children, you're going to have to work through this, whatever this situation is. Okay. So I wanted to dive into self-care and this teaching cycle that we are finding. You guys are in the second semester, and this is the spring, and there is a pattern that we see with this spring time. Some directors call it senioritis. Teachers are kind of over it. They're over the environment. You basically are not the same teacher that you were when you were first given these children in the beginning of the year. For one, you have a relationship with these kids now. You've developed together. They have developed more. They have hit milestones during the time of being in your classroom, but you also are tired and you're tapped out, and it takes a really humble teacher to be able to acknowledge that, to take a step back, do a little self-care, and say, okay, I'm not the teacher. I'm not as bubbly. I'm not as excited and anticipating great things that are going to happen in the classroom, because you're tired, and we get it. And so it's great to acknowledge that and then go, okay, I need to regroup and find that teacher that was in me in the beginning of the school year. Find that excitement back, because that's the energy that you need to be able to address these really needed movements for the children that you are addressing. Maybe challenging behaviors, maybe a really concerning parent. That's the energy that you need to get through these situations. So kind of have to do a little bit of a self-care, and I'm gonna take a break, and then we're going to kind of address those teacher domains so that you can prepare and process through that as a teacher or an adult.